the Mazda MX-5. It's long been the default choice if you want a simple, back to basics, fun little sports car. But the current Mark IV version has got just a little bit more practical and refined thanks to the addition of a new folding metal hardtop roof. It's certainly a fancy bit of kit. It takes just 13 seconds to do its business. And along with a new roof comes a new name, MX-5 RF, which stands for retractable fastback. But because that roof adds rigidity, the steering and the suspension have also been softened to make the RF as comfortable and as familiar to drive as the standard MX-5 Roadster. Inside, and it's identical to the normal MX-5, so you get this cramped but driver-focused sports car-like interior. Everything is just so easy to use and it's such a nice place to be. The gear lever, the handbrake, the air conditioning controls are all easy to hand. Now all cars come with Mazda's infotainment system. It's much like the type you'd find on a BMW with its iDrive system. It's very easy to use. But taller drivers will struggle in here thanks to the low roofline and the fact the steering wheel only adjusts for rake and not reach. There's also precious little cubby space in here. Now there is a little slot under here. There's also a couple of cup holders that are movable around the cabin. A central cubby, but that's also quite small, and there's also a secret cubby behind my driver's seat, but there's nowhere to put the car bar big bottle test or even my beloved big packet of crisps. But it is a sports car after all, and having lots of storage spaces is probably being a little bit too pernickety. There are just two versions of the RF, SEL Nav and Sport Nav. SEL Nav comes with climate control, cruise control, 16-inch alloys, LED headlights and sat nav, while Sport Nav gets leather heated seats and a Bose audio system. Just like the fabric-roofed MX-5 convertible, the RF's roof folds down into here, so there's no impact on boot room, which is a good thing really, because the MX-5's boot is small at the best of times. Now you can fit a weekly shop or a weekend suitcase like this. This is the mid-size version of the car buyer suitcase, and as you can see, it fits fine. If you want anything larger than this, well, you're going to have to look at something bigger. It is a sports car after all, and if you want more space, buy a hot hatchback. The RF is powered by just two petrol engines, 129 bhp 1.5 and a 2-litre with 157 bhp. The 1.5 is the pick in the MX-5 convertible range. That's because the engine is just so small and light and is in perfect keeping with the car's focus on being as light and as fun as possible. But in the RF it's a different story, because I'd go for the 2-litre version. Both engines are pretty frugal too. Over 400 miles we average just under 35 mpg in the 2-litre, while the 1.5 should return in the low 40s. If you go for the 2-litre, you get the choice of a 6-speed manual or an automatic. Now I really wouldn't go for the automatic if I were you, because this 6-speed manual is possibly the best manual gearbox that's currently on sale, because it has got a rifle bolt action. It is absolutely a joy to use. It's so precise and just makes you realise that Mazda know what they're doing when it comes to building gearboxes. And you combine this gearbox with beautifully, deliciously accurate and feelsome steering, a chassis to die for, comfortable suspension, and it makes you realise, why can't every car be this fun to drive? Why? There are hardly any disadvantages to having this roof. Now, despite the extra weight gained by putting a metal roof on the top, the handling still remains pinpoint sharp and just as agile as the fabric-roofed Roadster version. And there's also the big gain in refinement. Now, with this metal roof on, it's so much quieter at motorway speeds between 50 to 70 miles an hour. You can have a really decent conversation with your passenger, and there's hardly any wind noise or road noise. Mazda have also put extra sound deadening in here because this car is a bit more of a GT compared to the Mazda MX-5 convertible, which is seen as a bit more of a Sunday blast car. They've worked really hard on it, and it really shows. This is a perfectly quiet and refined car to drive. But while the RF has some plus points, there are some bad things. Like visibility. Now, in the convertible version, when you've got the roof down, the over-the-shoulder visibility is a lot better. But in this, because of the bar and the flying buttress over there, it's a little bit bad, its visibility. Having said that, when the roof is down, it's a lot easier to have a conversation with your passenger in here because the general buffeting in here is a lot less than it is in the normal convertible version. And then there's the subject of price. The RF costs around £2,000 more than the standard MX-5, and if you choose a few options like our test car, you could be looking at an MX-5 that costs £26,000. So you really have to value the looks and the extra refinement. But who says sports cars are rational choices? The MX-5 is an interesting car, and its mere creation shows there's life in the sports car market yet. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you share it and subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo, or watch our review of the Toyota GT86 and our sports cars playlist.